Hi, dear friends, some words of Torah for Parshat Vayetzei. Yaakov's departure from his parents' home was anything but a joyous event. Yaakov was forced to flee because Esav was seething with anger after Yaakov stole his blessings. We cannot know for certain, of course, what Yaakov was feeling, but imagine for a moment that you are Yaakov. You listened to your mother despite your hesitations and great reservation over deceiving your father, masquerading as another person. Now the aftermath. You're forced to flee because of your brother's great anger. Esav wasn't just angry because of his stolen blessings. Upon discovering that Yaakov received the blessings, Yitzchak, the father, was filled with a great fright. He realized for the first time that Esav wasn't the person he thought he was. Our sages teach that up to this point, Esav had shown great respect and reverence for his father. Knowing how pious his father was, Esav would engage in halachic discussions about the most minute aspects of religious observance, when in reality, Esav couldn't have cared less about these topics. After seeing how Hashem had orchestrated that Esav would not receive the blessings, Yitzchak realized that he was not a righteous man deserving of these holy blessings. For Esav, the jig was up. The masquerade was over, and he could no longer hide his real persona of a hunter and a man of the field. Our sages actually blame Yaakov. The Medrash says that Yaakov committed a type of murder by assassinating Esav's carefully crafted false persona. Yaakov was guilty in that previously there was hope that Esav might grow into that role of being authentically religious and devout. But now that Yaakov had exposed him, all hope was lost for Esav's spiritual fortitude, and he fell deeper into the chasm of spiritual emptiness. Yaakov's flight from Eretz Yisrael was like the unintentional murderer who must flee to an Ir Miklat, a city of refuge. Esav was both the victim and the blood avenger for his own fratricide. There are countless stories of people who, when they were younger, were spiritually and emotionally shattered by one reckless or cruel comment by their teacher or other figure of authority. I recently heard of a Shoah survivor who recently recalled how his Cheder Rebbe in Europe had, before one Pesach, exhorted his students to be at the Seder and to be like the Chacham, the wise son. But you, the Rebbe pointed to this person, you're hopeless. You'll always be the Rasha, the wicked son. This old man still cried bitter tears when recalling how this had completely humiliated and destroyed his younger self. So imagine how broken Esav was. His special relationship with his father was irreparably destroyed, as was his potential relationship with his father in heaven. One cannot help but feel sorry for Esav at this point in the story. With this background, Yaakov must not have been feeling all that good about himself. He was riddled with guilt over his role in Esav's, so to speak, death. The Parsha opens with Yaakov arriving at Mount Moriah just as the sun is setting. What does he do? According to our sages, he prays. Unlike his father Yitzchak and his grandfather Avraham, Yaakov prayed at a time of deep depression and self-doubt. This is symbolized by the nighttime prayer. Night is the time when things are obscure, and you're not really sure if what you're seeing is what you think it is. Yaakov was so confused about his own integrity and questioned whether he was worthy of being chosen of God. This is the power of prayer that every Jew possesses. Even when we feel unworthy, we still open our siddur and ask Hashem for his blessings. These prayers have been the key to our survival through the darkest of times, amidst our greatest times of self-doubt, when the whole world is against us. Right after Yaakov's prayer, he falls asleep and has a dream. His dream is about angels ascending and descending a ladder. While we don't find God directly addressing Yaakov's role in destroying his brother, the scene of the dream was God's way of consoling Yaakov. Behold, the angels of the Lord were ascending and descending the ladder. Firstly, as the Beis Yaakov commentary observes, Hashem was demonstrating to Yaakov that despite the repercussions of your act, and despite that you are now in exile, I have not forsaken you. If you were indeed such a sinner as you believe, I would not be here standing over you in a dream. Moreover, while it's true that Esav has suffered because of your behavior, it's important to know that ultimately it is I who orchestrates the ascent or descent of every human being. If I had not wanted Esav to fall from grace, I would not have allowed your masquerade to succeed. Esav's angel is descending and yours is ascending. There will be other times when Esav's angel will ascend and yours will descend, and this will play out throughout the millennia. Ultimately, everything is unfolding according to the divine plan. Dreams are a unique vehicle for communicating a message because they are shrouded in mystery, unconsciousness, and confusion. When Hashem communicates in a dream with his loved ones, such as he did with Yosef and Daniel, it was with the message: despite the hardship that you are currently experiencing, despite the darkness of this moment, and despite your lack of self-confidence, do not despair. As Rabbi Nachman said, Va'afilu behahastara shebetoch hastara, even in the darkest places of hiddenness within hiddenness, Hashem is certainly ensconced in that place. Bevadai gam sham meluvash Hashem yitbarach. We seem to have descended into a darkness that is becoming ever darker. The world is not a safe place anymore, especially not for its Jews. From Yaakov, we learn that even when you are overcome by confusion and self-doubt, don't despair. Don't fall into nihilistic hopelessness. First, cry out to the Almighty at a time of darkness. Secondly, realize that wherever you are, Hashem is standing over you, orchestrating the divine plan in the way that it needs to unfold. If you can repair the damage from past mistakes, do so, but realize that no matter what, Hashem is with you, even in the darkness. Where did Yaakov go after waking up from this miraculous dream? Our sages teach that he did not go directly to Lavan's house in Haran. Instead, he tarried for 14 years studying in the yeshiva of Shem Va'aver, the very first yeshiva. This too was a modeling for future generations. When it's dark and you feel hounded from all sides, get thee to a seminary, to coin Shakespeare. At some point, Yaakov would need to encounter his brother. But there's time. It doesn't have to be today. First, fortify yourself with Torah wisdom and imbibe the spiritual nourishment of our tradition. After that experience, and after studying the ways of Lavan, you will be ready for an eventual encounter with Esav when it needs to happen. We need to push back against all the anti-Semitism. For some, this means political advocacy, showing up at rallies and marches, and posting on social media. For others who don't feel that they can do this, you're not free from working. You can also help through your own spiritual enrichment. We must all be doing something to help Am Yisrael right now. Let us join in that effort. And Be'ezrat Hashem, dear friends, the dawn will come soon, together with its soothing rays of light. May we see it b'mheira b'yameinu, amen. Here's wishing you a beautiful Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.